10,000 years, and it's easy to understand why. From the faithful Labrador Retriever to the intelligent Welsh Corgi to the immensely kickable toy poodle, there's something to like about every dog. Well, except this one. However, there's one breed of canine that rules them all, the king of the concrete jungle that continues to go ignored by those snooty jerks at the American Kennel Club. It could waste time fighting for the recognition that it deserves, but it's too busy fighting criminals and terrorists. And we, as a nation, are better off for it. You may remember the majestic ninja dog in the Neo Geo game Samurai Showdown, battling alongside the Jack London-esque Galford. However, it made its first appearance in the Sega game Shadow Dancer. Designed as a sequel to the immensely popular and aptly titled Shinobi, Shadow Dancer pairs Joe Musashi with a wet-nosed crime-fighting hound named Yamato. Yamato. I said Yamato! Look, it's right here. Alright, now that we have that settled, when you press down on the attack button, Yamato lunges for the throat of the nearest thug, making him indispensable for dealing with those stupid gunmen who take shots at you from behind wooden boxes. Try scoring a cheap hit on me now, you bastard! However, Yamato can only restrain enemies. You have to rush in to finish the job before the goon struggles free and literally cuts your pet down to size. As a puppy, Yamato is helpless and will remain that way until you dismantle one of the bombs hidden in each stage. Other than the ninja dog, it's business as usual for Joe Musashi, who dispatches crooks with his usual Far Eastern flair. There are actually 3 versions of Shadow Dancer, and all of them stick to the original Shinobi formula rather than straying from those roots with sprawling, open-ended levels. So if you're expecting the Revenge of Shinobi Strikes Back, you're going to be disappointed. If you play the Master System version of Shadow Dancer, you'll just be horrified. You won't find a worse game in the series short of Cyber Shinobi or that so-called Revenge Shinobi remake on the Game Boy Advance. Oh, the pain! The gut-wrenching, heart-breaking, kidney-punching pain! The Genesis game is really where it's at. Like many arcade ports of the time, this isn't really a port at all, but a brand new game built from the ground up. Anyone who's played abortions like Strider on the NES can tell you how completely aggravating this can be, but in this case it was a smart move. The playfield is panned out, keeping immediate threats in your field of vision, and the command to send Yamato after your enemies is a lot more reliable now that it's been changed to a button charge. Even the graphics are more memorable, despite smaller characters, less detailed backgrounds, and fewer colors. Wait, how does that work? Well, my friends, it's not what you've got, but how you use it that counts. In the arcade game, Joe's been replaced by some chump named Hayate, and Yamato is a mangy mutt on the verge of taking the big sleep. The Genesis version, on the other hand, gives the entire cast a G.I. Joe action figure makeover, and the sleeker, more dynamic characters make it clear that this game means business. Come on, who are you gonna fear more? An armored riot cop or the guy from Deep Space Nine in a Hawaiian shirt? So let me give you the breakdown on this set of reviews. The Genesis version of Shadow Dancer gets an 8. You'll want to play it for the refined graphics and gameplay. The arcade original gets a 6. You want to play it for the extra challenge, even if some of it comes from those blasted enemies hanging out in your blind spots. Finally, the Master System version gets a 4. You won't want to play it at all if you can avoid it.
Finally, Sparkster for the Super NES as promised. Now Sparkster, as some of you know, is the Rocket Knight, which is based on the Rocket Knight Adventure series for the Sega Genesis, which was created by Konami in the early 90s to be kind of like an animal mascot like Sega's Sonic. Now, Sparkster is very similar to Sonic, which I'll get into a little bit later on. He gets a golden suit like Sonic gets like gold, Super Saiyan powers or whatever. Sparkster is Rocket Knight Adventure 3, although it is just called Sparkster. And the plot is you're trying to rescue a princess, Alice Zelda, and you're trying to stop the forces of evil from destroying your kingdom, and you're also trying to defeat your rival. So it's very similar to a lot of the action platformer games of the 90s era, and copies a lot of aspects from Sonic and Zelda, but it has a lot of original elements as well. The controls for this game would be that they're very simple to use. You have a beam sword. Your rocket pack can go in any angle unlike failure games like Rocketeer, where the rocket was actually not really good. This game, you use your directional buttons to control the rocket. And you're also, being a possum, you can hang upside down from trees, you can climb trees and do all kinds of stuff that possums do. And on top of that, you're a possum with a rocket pack, so that's pretty cool in itself right there. That gives this game a good rating right there. Alright, bad aspect of this game. I hated the water level, and with the utmost passion for living, mainly because it's not really timed, but if you get stuck underneath the water, you're dead, and that just annoyed me. Also, I didn't like the bubble level. I just thought it was stupid and it was just thrown in there to be kind of cutesy platformer. Also, the second to last boss battle with the lion guy, no matter if you're on the normal or the hard difficulty, it's like you're playing him on crazy hard, which is just bad. Good aspect of this game. I loved the boss, the level design, the music, and the graphics for this game. I give them, 2 thumbs up for everything. It was so much fun to play back then, and it's still so much fun to play now, to pick this game up again, to see, just the graphics for that. The water effect, Sparkster's design, the level designs. Like this reminds me of Gradius, where he's, flying and defeating things, and you think, okay, that's great, but what's more? Well, you get a mech battle against your rival, Axel, in like kind of a rock'em sock'em robot thing in space. I mean, how cool is that? On top of that, you have 5 difficulty settings, and you have 3 different endings you can get in this game, as well as a last boss that's thrown in on the hard and the crazy hard settings. All in all, Sparkster is a great game for the Super Nintendo. I give it a 9 out of 10. I recommend that you people pick this game up, you find it, and you hope and pray it comes to the Virtual Console.